Ladies and gentlemen, and police commissioners from around Australia, tonight you're going to get it in black and white. Would you please welcome King Billy Coatbottle?
Thank you. Hey, mate, I've got to tell you all the story about when me and Morton one day walked in the pub and this dog come in with this bloke. And the bloke's dog, he's jumped straight at my throat. With this Morton, he grabbed the bar stool and he's beat the dog to death, you know. Then Morton turned around to this bloke and said, "Hey, mate, how did you get that dog to hate us that much like that?" He said, "Well," he said, "when he was a little puppy," he said, "I used to play with him. And every time he got a hard on," he said, "I hit him over the head with a gollywog." Yesterday, I got to tell you this funny thing that happened when I come around Morton's place. There was Morton rolling around on the floor, grabbing onto his crutch, you know. I said, "Gilligan, what's the matter with Morton?" She said, he gets everything all wrong." I said, "What do you mean?" "He's gone to the doctor, you know, this afternoon. Anyway, when he's gone to that doctor, the doctor told him to go and prick his boil." "What are you looking at, mate? Don't you stare at me like that, I'll give you a dark look." Hey, there's another story. One day when we was little kids, we were going to school, you know, and the teacher said, "Right, children, I want you to give me a sentence with the word contagious in it." So anyway, the first one, you know, there's a Gilligan. She said, "Yeah, miss, I know a good one there. I heard long time ago, before the white man come to our country, we didn't have any diseases, nothing. But then the white man, he's come here, and he's given us just a common cold, and to us that was contagious." He said, "That's very good, Gilligan." "Yes, Albert." He said, "Oh, miss," he said, "during the last World War, my uncle, he was up in the New Guinea, and he got a malaria and all the berry, and I heard that was a very contagious." He said, "Oh, that's very good." I said, "Yes, Morton." Morton, "Oh, miss, this is an exciting story. You know, when I was a little kid, our dad, he used to drive a veggie truck, you know, for the fruit and veggie peoples. Anyway, one day, he's pulled up to go and do a delivery, and as he's backed up to the truck by there, this bloke, he started yelling and screaming at our father, you know. Well, he wasn't very happy because he got back in the truck and then he's done a wheel stand. He's doing this big donut spinning around and all the cabbages and oranges and everything were falling off the back of the truck. And as he drove away, he said, "It's going to take the contagious to pick them up." That's true. One day, Morton, he was working in the hardware shop. And anyway, the blokes pulled up and said, "Mate, you got a pair of pliers?" Morton said, "Yeah, what do you want?" He said, "Oh, a pair of chrome ones, thanks." Oh, he said, "We haven't got any chrome ones." Oh, well, the bloke, he said, "All right then, I'll go." With this, the boss of this hardware shop, he'd walked up to Morton. He said, "What are you doing, Morton?" He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You just let a sail walk out the door." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, maybe we didn't have any chrome pliers, but we got some black metal ones there. You could have sold him them." He said, "Look," he said, "I think you've got a problem. You've got to learn a selling technique." He said, "I'll show you. You watch the next customer come in, and I'll show you how it, you know, works." Sure enough, a couple of minutes later, customer come in. He said, "Excuse me, can I have a packet of lawn seed, please?" The bloke said, "Yep, no worries, that's 50 cents. Would you like a hose to go with that?" I said, "What?" He said, "Well, certainly," he said, "if you're going to put lawn seed down," he said, "you're going to have to water them in, aren't you?" "Yeah," he said, "I didn't stop to think about that." He said, "What about a rake?" He said, "You've got to rake the area and that, you know, so you can make it right for the lawn." "Yeah," he said, "I ain't got a rake." He said, "Better throw in a rake." He said, "What about a roller?" I said, "What?" "A roller." I said, "Oh, what for?" He said, "Well, to make it nice and flat like the bowling green, you know." "Oh, yeah, you better give me a roller." He said, "What about a sprinkler?" I said, "Sprinkler?" He said, "Well, you got the hose." He said, "You just don't want to stand there, do you? You know, with on the end of the hose." He said, "You put a sprinkler down, you can let it run like that." "Oh, yeah, good idea." He said, "What about some fertilizer?" "Fertilizer?" "Yeah," he said, "Fertilizer." He said, "You need some fertilizer to boost it along, you know, to get it going good." "Oh, yeah, you better give us a bag of that fertilizer." He said, "And what about a lawnmower?" I said, "Lawnmower?" "Yeah," he said, "once it gets growing," he said, "you want to go and mow the lawn, won't you?" He said, "Yeah, I didn't think about that." He said, "All right, I'll have all that." Anyway, the bloke, he's right there to check, you know, for nearly $1,000. He walked out and the bloke turned around in the morning and said, "See, Morton, a 50-cent packet of seed, I turned it into a nearly $1,000 sale." He said, "For suggestive selling, you know." He said, now you learn by that, and you can apply that the next time you sell something. So a couple of minutes later, a woman walked in. Said, excuse me. And Morton said, yes. He said, can I have a packet of, the tampons? I said, sure, no worries. He said, now, would you like a lawnmower to go with that? He said, a lawnmower? I said, yeah. He said, your weekend stuff, you might as well mow the lawn. The other day, Morton he'd come walking into the house, with his 12 beautiful long stem roses. And he gave them to Jittigan. Well, with Jittigan, she was overcome, by the excitement. She disrobed all her clothes, fell back on the bed and spread her legs, Morton said, what's that for? He said, for the flowers. He said, haven't we got a vase? What are you looking at, Matt? Listen, I've got to tell you another time one day when Morton, he was a sailor. And he's gone up to King's Cross. And he ended up in this house of the ill repute, Anyway, he's really drunk, and he's rollicking around there, and he said to the woman, he said, how am I going, love? He said, you're doing about 3 knots. He said, 3 knots? Yep. You're not hard, you're not in, and you're not getting your money back. With the duck shooting season, I remember once Morton, he was going through the fence, and the shotgun, he's going off, and it shot him in the groin. Well, this caused a lot of embarrassment because, every time Morton went to the toilet, he'd be standing there, and it'd be going like a, sprinkler, Pope sprinkler. So Morton thought, crikey, this is embarrassing. I can't, keep doing this to the people standing next to me in the toilet. So anyway, Morton, he'd gone to see the doctor, and he showed him the injury. And the doctor said, yeah, well, all right, Morton. He said, here's this, address from this highfalutin area. You go there, and this bloke, he'll fix you up. He said, what, this bloke? What, is he a specialist? He said, no, he's a piccolo player. He's going to teach you how to hold it. I remember Morton, he's done medicine. When he was a medical student, he was, in the room there with the doctor's lecturer fella, and he said, Morton, I've got a question for you. If a baby was born without a penis, what would you do? He said, I'd probably wait 16 years and I'd give her one. Another time, old story, Dreamtime story about the 2 dogs, that's sitting in the vet. Anyway, the first dog said to the other dog, he said, what are you here for, mate? He said, you're not going to believe this. He said, I bit my master, and he sent me here. He's going to have me put down. He said, right. So what about you? He said, look, he said, my boss is an old spinster, and the other day she was waxing the floors, and when she bent over, I couldn't help it, He said, so I did this bad thing. He said, so he sent you here to get put down too? He said, no. He said, I'm here to get my nails clipped. Yeah, one day Morton, he's coming to town, and anyway, it was raining, really bad, and the Morton, he's gone to the hotel, and the bloke said, look, he said, I can't let you in. He said, I'm fully booked out. He said, what am I going to do? I can't sleep out here in the rain. He said, look, he said, why don't you just go past the church on your right-hand side? He said, there's a house there with some people. They might take you in as, for as a lodger, So Morton, he's gone down there, walked up on the veranda, looked through the window there, and there was this woman standing naked with a hand under her tit, and an alarm clock in the air. And he looked across to the other room, and there was this bloke with an umbrella in his hand and a hand on his old fella, He went, crikey, they're mad. I'm going to go and get that publican. He's been setting me up. So he's gone running all the way over there back to the hotel, and he said to the bloke, he said, hey, mate, what are you going to do and sending me to that idiot's house, and what? I've seen this woman standing there with an alarm clock in her hand and hand under her tit, and this bloke here with the umbrella with a hand on the old fella. He said, what are you doing to me? Oh, he said, crikey, he said, I forgot to tell you, Morton. He said, there's deaf, deaf mutant peoples. He said, what she's saying is time to milk the cow. And he said, get stuffed, it's raining outside. Oh, yes, one day me and Morton was walking down by the creek bed, and we found this old flagon, and Morton, he thought he would dust it off, As he dusted off, here's a big cloud of smoke coming out of him. And it said, I am your genie. Well, he was amazed, He said, yep, and I'll grant you 2 wishes. Morton said, oh, that's fantastic. He said, I want to wish that I was white. Oh, big flash of lightning, clap of thunder, Morton turned white. Anyway, the genie said, come on, hurry up, Morton, what's your 2nd wish? He said, I wish I was rich and I didn't have to work anymore. Big flash of lightning, clap of thunder, and Morton turned black again. Yeah, one day, Morton, he was sitting there talking to himself at the bar, and he said, looks like plastic, feels like a rubber. It looked like plastic, but it feels like a rubber. I said, Morton, what do you got there? I was thinking, he got some new technological breakthrough or something, He said, Billy, he said, looks like plastic, but it feels like rubber. I said, give us a look at that. Anyway, I got it in my finger there, and I'm squeezing it and looking at it. I said, it does look like a plastic. And it does feel like rubber. I said, Morton, where'd you find this? He said, up my nostril. Then, this is an important story for me. There's one day when Morton, he's had an accident and he's lost the family jewels. The jewels got cut off, And he's going to see the doctor about this, and the doctor said, well, Morton, he said, I'd like to help you out, but he said, we don't get a lot of people donating that particular organs, He said, but I'll tell you what I can do for you until somebody comes along. He said, that is, I can put a couple of pickled onions in there, and that will do the job until we get a donor. So anyway, Morton, he's had the operation. A couple of weeks later, he's walking down the road, and he's seen the doctor, With this, he ducked into the laneway. The doctor spotted him. He come down the laneway and said, Morton, what are you doing here? He said, I didn't want to see you. He said, why? He said, I've got to see you. He said, this operation, I want to know how it went. Morton said, I don't want to talk about that. He said, well, you've got to tell me about it, Morton, because he said, I could recommend this to other people, He said, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. He said, well, you've got to tell me why. He said, well, the operation, it was successful, but I got a side effect. He said, what do you mean you got a side effect? Well, he said, when you're looking at a lady with no clothes on and you feel yourself turning to stone? He said, yep. He said, well, I get that same feeling every time I walk into a fish and chip shop. When you think we got a superstitions, you ain't seen nothing like what I seen over in Bali when I was there with Morton, Because we was walking through the shortcut through the bush. And all of a sudden, this bloody foolbird, mate, he shit all over Morton. Anyway, Morton goes to wipe it off, and this Balinese fella said, hey, don't go wiping off the shit of the foolbird, mate, because there'll be a curse on you. Morton said, I stuffed the foolbird, mate, and he's wiped it off, Anyway, as he walked out on the track, this bloke in the bimmer, he's going running straight over Morton. Anyway, there's a moral to the story. If the fool shits, wear it. Mate, this is going to make a dream some story to make everybody happy, mate. One day, Morton, he's got to run over, sleeping on the highway, and he's gone to hell. And when he come there to hell, there was this huge cave. And in the huge cave, there was all these thousands of clocks. Anyway, there was the bloke with a big long tail and a pitchfork. He was running the barbecue in the middle of the hell of this cave. Morton walked up to him and said, who are you, mate? The bloke said, I'm Nick. He said, oh, good to meet you, Nick. My name's Morton. What do you want me here for? He said, well, you've come to hell because that's what's happened when you die and you've been bad, Morton said, oh, all right. Then he looked around the room and he's seen all these clocks everywhere, all on the wall. Everywhere was clocks. Morton said, what's all these clocks doing here on the wall? He said, why, Morton, there's clocks. While you're on Earth, there's a clock for everybody there that calculates their lifetime, He said, so there's a clock there, was there for you, but you're gone now, so your clock's gone. Next thing, one of the clocks went back an hour, Morton looked at that. Next thing, another one went back an hour. Morton said, what's going on now? He said, well, Morton, while you're on Earth, he said, and you play with yourself, he said, it takes an hour of your lifetime. Morton said, oh, that's interesting. He said, where's Paul Keaton's clock? He said, it's in the office. We use it as a fan. Yeah, that's true. You don't believe me, do you? But then it's all true to God true is what I'm telling you here tonight, man. I gotta tell you another time, too, that Morton one day, he was taking up the lawn bowls, And anyway, he's going to the toilet. And while he was in the toilet, this bloke come and stood next to him, and Morton looked over his shoulder, and he was the club doctor, And Morton, he was hurting bad while he was having a fit, you know, and there's Dr. Ben there, Mortonfoot, he'd asked the question. He said, excuse me, doctor, can you ever look at that? And the doctor looked down at that and he said, he got his chalk out from behind his ear and he's gone and marked it, you know. Morton said, what'd you do that for? He said, well, that's the closest I've been to the Jack all day. Yeah, one day, you know, me and Morton, we was in the pub and we were wrecking it bad, you know. Smashing up the pool cues, smashing the chairs, smashing the glasses. Anyway, the circus, he's coming to town, you know. And with the circus coming to town, the circus boss, he's walked in that hotel and he was witness me and Morton wrecking the joint, you know. And the bloke said to the publican, he said, hey, how come you don't control these blokes? He said, I've got no control over them. They just do what they want. That Morton and Billy are like that. Well, he said, I've got something to fix that. He said, I've got this bloody gorilla in the circus. He said, I'll bring him down tomorrow. He'll sort these pair of buggers out. So anyway, sure enough, next day we're having a good time smashing the queues and throwing the bar stools out the window and just having a great time. When all of a sudden this gorilla appeared at the door. And it growled, you know, and it marched straight over to Morton, roaring and screaming. With this, Morton turned around, he punched it fair in the head, kneed it in the groin, turned around and got a bar stool, wrapped it over his head, then he picked it up and he windmilled it and threw it straight out the window. And he walked back to me and said, there you are, Billy, give a gin a fur coat and I think they own the place.